Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. I got my guy Roman Harper with me today. What's up, baby?
Hey, man, appreciate that. That was a nice, easy intro, which is normally not how we do this.
You know.
But first and foremost, all of our listeners, everybody tuning in, whether you pick it up on, first of all, give us a 5-star rating, give us a review, leave us a couple comments, tell us what we're doing great, and maybe something that we can work on. Also,
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio.
make sure you hit that follow button too. Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio app. Thank you, man. Peanut, we got a great one today. I'm really, really looking forward to this interview. Go ahead.
Yeah, this next gentleman, one of the most dynamic receivers the game has ever seen.
Yes,
He's
sir.
an all-pro. He's a Pro Bowler. Played 12 years in the league. Since retirement, he's a coach. He's a musician. He's an artist. He's an author. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andre Rison to the show, y'all.
All right, I would be remiss if I didn't say it because I think you have a top 3 greatest nickname of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Andre Bad Moon Rison. I mean, I'm from Alabama, so I grew up watching you. A huge fan. It's an honor to actually have you here. Being in your city, you're from Detroit. And maybe just talk about how many of the great Detroit ballers are all back here.
It's a bunch of y'all back here,
Yeah,
man.
I didn't even know that.
You,
Man.
Spice,
Yeah.
Braylon,
Yeah,
Drake Bell.
keep going.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of y'all I didn't seen already, man.
And a lot of us that have kids that's playing,
Yeah.
and so thank you for all the flowers. That's for sure. You and Rome and fans of you guys. It's funny when you try to become a collegiate coach. There's so many stipulations and so many small little loopholes.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we feel like we got degrees in the game of football,
Yeah.
it's really difficult to retire and then go get a collegiate job
Very true.
as a coach. We all know the minority fact,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you feel like you put enough time in the game of football. It was your occupation, so you should be able to teach it. And I'm
You
not
know
saying
more.
everybody that played
Yeah.
can coach, but we got a good thing going here in the state of Michigan. A lot of former NFL guys have come back and given to the community, not just in Detroit, all the way to Flint, Michigan, where the great Mark Ingram won the Heisman in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see things like that, you can see the trend moving. I wish it was more of it,
Mhm.
but I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I'm a pillar of it, and I look forward to it. And it's a great honor just to be a part of this evening tonight
Yeah.
in the city of Detroit, holding the NFL draft. They had the Super Bowl. Now they have the draft. Next thing is to win the championship.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. And so they got great fans, and I'm just glad to be down here and be a part of it. My wife and I really enjoying ourselves.
Where are you
Yeah.
coaching at? Put that out there, too.
University of Liggett. It's in Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
We went 8-1 last year.
Okay.
Lost in the first round of playoffs. Got some great kids. It's a private school, so it's a little bit tougher pulling, just natural born talent out.
Yeah.
And so I think we did a great job with the kids that we have. Got some scholarships in
There
the
you
first
go.
year.
Yeah.
Got some offers to some returning kids, and that's what the whole goal is, to help these families
Yeah.
take that initial next step. you
Yeah.
know.
So I know for me, my draft story was amazing. I was very low key. I know your draft story, you were low key back at the crib. I think yours is a little different. I was
Yeah.
at the crib in like a tank top and a t-shirt and some shorts on, some workout clothes. And that was like my little low key party. Yours took a little bit of a turn. Can you explain a little bit or explain to the listeners about what happened? Because I know it kind of got a little shaky.
Yeah. At first, I didn't know what sport I was gonna play,
Oh, okay.
because I had ambitions of playing basketball. I originally went to college to play basketball. I played
Yeah.
basketball at Michigan State. I
Wow.
ran track at Michigan State. And I played football. And so when it came time for maybe 6 months out from the draft, my agent and I were talking, and he was like, "Look, we just need to focus on football." And so I let basketball go my senior year and started focusing on football. And I wasn't even on the chart, dudes. I wasn't nowhere on the charts because we didn't throw the ball at Michigan State. We had a great running back in Lorenzo White.
Yep.
And so they had all these receivers pegged on top of me. And so I played my last 2 games going into my senior year. We played the last 2 games. I scored like 7 or 8 touchdowns. in the Gator Bowl, between the Gator Bowl and the Hula Bowl. So I catapult like a probability of a first round, second round, right? And so draft day comes, and I'm sitting there, and the phone rings, and it's Detroit Lions. And they say, hey, half our staff wants Barry Sanders. The other half of the staff wants Andre Rison. And they didn't go wrong.
I was like,
Yeah, they didn't go wrong, but they wouldn't have went wrong with myself either, you know. So I ended up sliding from the number 2 possible pick all the way to the 22nd pick. Still first round, but as we know, that's a different value in money and everything, you know. And so I came out with a little, probably the same bite as you guys did.
Yeah.
I came out with the same type of, you know, I need to prove myself. And it actually helped me throughout my career because I started off with the Indianapolis Colts, got drafted first round, and then I was traded the preceding year for the number 1 pick overall. It sounds flattering, but when you're 21, 22 years old and you feel like you just played, you know, balls out, you just bought a house in Indianapolis, you're set, you feel like you made the all-rookie team, you're going to be there, second leading receiver on the team, and no lie, I jumped in my car on draft day and took off, and I headed up to East Lansing, my alumni, and my alma mater. And I'm going to have a draft party and everything. And I get about halfway, and I get a phone call. And you guys are maybe too young. We used to have phones in the middle.
Oh, yeah. I know. I didn't have one, but I know what they
let's go tell me the whole thing then. Like, what kind of car was you riding in? Because not every car just had the phone in the middle. So
yeah,
you tell me that part too.
You know, I was on that Bobby Brown stuff back in the day. I had that 560 SEC hard top. You know that 560 SEC. We actually, our whole class had it. Deion Sanders had one.
Okay.
Broderick Thomas had one.
Yeah.
Derek Thomas had one. And my little butt had one. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm headed back, man. The phone ring. I answer it, and it's my mom. And she says, "Hey, where are you?" I said, "I'm on the highway. I'm headed up to East Lansing." She said, "She said the draft started." I said, "The draft started, right?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "You need to turn around." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because." I said, "The draft started, right?" She said, "Yeah, you need to turn around." So I'm like, "What?" I'm thinking the worst. I'm thinking a member of the family then died or something. And she says, "You just got traded." I said, "How I get traded and the draft just started, Mom?" She said, "You got traded with the number 1 pick, the first pick overall. And it was for Jeff George."
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going. I didn't know anything about the South. You know, I'm from the Midwest, up north. I was like, I'm not going. And she says, "Boy, over the phone, you're going wherever they sign that check at." And
True.
so that's the history of the story. And the rest was history, man. I ended up going to the city of Atlanta, and, you know, they embraced me with open arms, and I was able to play, you know, outstanding football for that city and that organization.
How'd you feel in that moment when your mom told you got traded after having such an amazing first year? Like mentally, how were you feeling?
I was hurt. I was hurt. Felt like I needed to find out what I had did wrong.
Yeah.
You know, never been cut before, never been traded before because, you know, you're fresh out of college, you play that first year in the pros. And it's funny, I played in a locker room full of older guys. Like, those guys had second jobs. Like 70% of my teammates, as a rookie, they had second jobs. And so those guys were like big brothers to me, beyond friends, because I learned the game outside the game from them. And all of a sudden I was gone. And, you know, I didn't even get a chance to talk to none of the owners, none of the Ursays, none of the Indianapolis Colts owners. Never seen them, never talked to them to this day. And it kind of hurt, but then it gave me the bite I needed.
Yeah.
To go against guys like yourself.
So would you, if you could talk to Jim Irsay, would you thank him today? Well, it wasn't him that made it. I think it was the father that made the trade. But
I don't know which one made it. I think the son was, like, you know, very active, like Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and I never got a chance and opportunity to say anything to those guys. And I played one time. After I left, I played the Colts one time, and I used to look on the schedule. I ain't lying. I used to look on the schedule. Like,
most people do.
When we play these MOs. You know what I'm saying? When we play these MOs. And never played against them. And then finally, in my last year in my career, I played everybody that I was a part of the organization prior to playing for the Raiders. And it was like what they call it nowadays, the tour. the tour when the player goes on the tour.
Yeah.
Oh, like the
Revenge
farewell,
tour.
revenge
The
tour,
revenge tour.
farewell tour. Yeah.
It wasn't a fair. It was straight
The
revenge.
revenge.
It was straight revenge. But man, I had an awesome career. Like I said, the city of Atlanta. That's why I'm here today at the NFL Draft 2024 because of the Falcons organization.
Yeah.
You know, allowing me to go out and announce the picks, second round and third round.
Yeah.
So I think Peanut asked a great question, but about your draft day experience.
Yeah.
But I want to know about the night before.
Oh, y'all seen the movie then? Y'all seen that?
So I want to know about the night before.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch the movie. It's a great movie. It's on Apple TV, Tubi. You can watch it free for Tubi on Tubi now. But it's the Andre Rison story, wide open. Great movie. It's my first project as a film producer, and we got many more projects to come. But there is a scene in there that recalls the night before the draft. And I tell my wife always tells me, "Hey man, don't go nowhere and start no fight. Don't start no argument."
Oh, you that guy? You get the rules before you leave the house?
I think we're all them guys. When we retire, first we got to get them shoulder pads off of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so get that stuff off our chest. But long story short, I've never picked a fight, started a fight, so it was hard to pinpoint where it came from. And me being the oldest in the family, and a younger brother and younger sister, I didn't know where it came from. But the night before the draft, my house was shot up, and we didn't know who, we didn't know how, and my mom was in the house, my young son, Andre Jr. was in the house, my sister was in the house, and so when we got word of it, it just put me on alert on a whole nother level of who I really was about to become.
Yeah,
and it taught me about security, taught me about a lot of stuff. That I was about to endure,
right?
Being an NFL player, a professional athlete.
So was that next day just business as usual? Was it just like, oh, the house got shut up? All right, well, let's go to the draft. Like, was it like a normal thing?
Living in Flint, Michigan at that time, in Detroit, Michigan, it was normal, but it wasn't normal for me,
right?
Because I didn't get in fights. I didn't start trouble. I didn't have time really to even indulge in those type of things, and so we just couldn't pinpoint it. But we moved on. I think the strongest person out of it was my mom, because she was actually in the house when the shots were fired and came through, and there were about 25 shots that hit the house, and at that time, we still hadn't got no money yet, so we were living in a little hut. Yeah. So that bullet went through the front door. It was already at the back door. Yeah. So thank the Lord, we was able to push through that. But that is an incident where I can always go back to and tell these younger guys that's coming up, and the difference between being a gym rat and being in these streets. Yeah. Trying to be a gym rat at the same time. It don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
true.
2015, I go to Carolina, and I team up with this joker. And I kind of think that's where our bond, that's kind of where we started. I call her my work wife.
Got you.
Right? And
it is something like that.
Yeah, it is something like that. But Rome, I think everyone know, like, when we do these podcasts, like, Rome was my guy. Like, we as thick as thieves.
Yeah.
You end up going to Atlanta your second year, and you team up with Deion.
Yeah.
And you guys really built a bond. You guys had a special connection. Talk about, like, what that bond, how you guys became friends. Talk about that experience.
Well, actually,
or that relationship.
That relationship and bond, it grew from being each other's nemesis in college.
Yeah.
All the way from his great institution was Florida State, mine was Michigan State. You got the top defensive back in the country, top wide receiver in the country, and we had to play each other in college.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't either.
I didn't know y'all played against in college.
Yeah, we had to play against each other in college, and they had the better team, and they beat us. We didn't throw the ball a lot, but I knew by just being on the stage with a guy of that character and a guy of that confidence, it would propel me to let me know really where I was at. Mm-hmm. And so we played Florida State and Michigan State first, I want to say. And so we didn't have the internet. We had USA Today. We had that newspaper.
Yeah.
So the first time I got a chance to get a mic in my face, and the first time he got a opportunity to get one in his face, we shot shots. Check me. Well, you get open, Well, I'm gonna do this. Well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Well, I'm gonna do that. Knowing I ain't gonna get the ball, but it's a perfect stage.
Yeah.
CBS, ABC, and so we didn't even talk like during that first meeting. Didn't say anything to each other. They kicked our butts. They went on back to Florida, and we went our way. That second time we played in Tallahassee, and I'm running 30 yards downfield. Same type of USA Today talk prior to the game, though. And I'm running 30 yards downfield, and he just goes in my mouth. Bow! I said, I'm going to kill him. Right? I said, when I get back to the huddle, I walk back to the huddle, and I think it was a pass play. And I'm going to tell you, we were run first dominant. I deferred the pass. I wanted to run and pop him one right back. So I went flying down the field like I had a go route, and I popped him in his mouth. Bow! So now it's really on. So we're jabbing. I'm looking at all the Florida State sideline. I'm jabbing. And so the other defensive back, he said, man, what part of Florida you from? And I said, what part of Florida? I said, I'm not from Florida. And, it just got all super hype. And the next play, I catch it, and I go in for like a 35 or 30-yard touchdown. And he's on the opposite side coming to make the tackle to prevent me. No, let me go back. He intercepted the ball the previous drive. He jumped over my back about 50 yards downfield. I beat him. He says he just let me get inside. Quarterback threw it. He goes over my head, and he intercepts it. I knew what type of athlete he was, tremendous athlete.
Yes.
So he goes over my head. It was last play of the half. I'm trying to catch it, get in the end zone for a score. So he picks it off, gets up, and does his prime time. So two series later, I catch it. I go in for a touchdown. But he has to tackle me. He misses the tackle. I go in for the touchdown. I turn back. I look back. He's on the ground holding his ankle. And that's where the bond began. I celebrated, and when I celebrated, our teammates, we started walking towards our bench. I seen him still on the ground. I ran out on the field at Florida State. Got on one knee. That was our first time really engaging with each other face to face like that. And asked him, was he all right? He grabbed my hand. I'm good. And from then on, we've been best of friends all the way to brothers. And even to this day, I'm in Colorado 3-4 times every 2-3 months.
What were the vibes like in that Atlanta locker room? Because it wasn't just about football in Atlanta at that time.
No.
It was, I'm from Alabama, so I'm from the South.
Right down the street.
Yeah, I heard nothing but Atlanta music. Atlanta at that point had taken over the music industry. So it wasn't just about the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Braves were really good at the time.
Yeah.
Like, all these things are going on in Atlanta. So it was really a blessing in disguise for you. But I want to know what those vibes were like everything else besides the football stuff.
It's funny because my first year there, first couple years, we made the playoffs one of those years. We were so terrible, but we had the two best young players.
Yeah.
You had Deion Sanders, you had Rison. But we would be literally like 1-9, 2-12. We were playing basketball at the rec center like during regular season. Like practice would be over, and we'd be like 500 a team. We betting on a game. We're going to play basketball in the mid-season. So
I had them young legs.
Yeah, that's young losing. That's young losing.
Young losing.
So, but it's crazy because they asked us as an organization to bond away from the game.
Yeah.
Right? And this is going to go into Rome's thing. Bonding away from the game in Atlanta could mean trouble.
True.
It's a different nightlife than Green Bay, Wisconsin's nightlife. And when we got there, we were at the beginning of the push to bring it to the height it is now.
Yes.
So you're talking about guys that had their own clubs. Deion had his own club. I had several clubs, nightclubs. You're talking about black entertainment at its highest level, professionalism at its highest level, all the way from legislation, that's politicians, you name it. So it was kind of weird, especially for me, being from up north.
Yeah.
I seen the integration away from the game early, you know. And so you got to remember we are in the South.
Yeah.
And so it's different when, this 6-foot guy jumps out of Ferrari with all his jewelry on, and his partner's on the other side in this Lamborghini with all his jewelry on, and both step out, and it's Deion Sanders and Andre Rison, but they got nicknames. Primetime, Bad Moon, Showtime, Neon Deion.
Yeah.
So, of course, the off the field, curriculum's changed because now you got music. Film hadn't hit just yet, but the music was.
Yes.
The music was like no rap was still played on the radio at that time. So you got all those MCs, you got all that word hip hop, all that involved. And so we're like in the middle of it. Deion's got the club, I got the club, we got the DJs. I can play your music if I want to play it or not. So I'm almost, or he can too as well, so we can almost navigate the music game on who we put on without even being in the music game. And so that was another empowerment too as well, to be part of Atlanta's music scene, or I should say entertainment scene and nightlife. And so that vibe was extra good.
I didn't even know you guys owned clubs.
I didn't either.
That's new information.
Yeah.
That was not on the Wikipedia page.
Yes, yeah. The thing is, they'll never give you the flowers for being politically correct in your business moves and being savvy. But the moment,
mess up
or you spent too much money, they're going to print that 10 times.
Yeah. What kind of influence has Deion had on your life?
Major. I say major. I think we both have had very influential moments with each other.
Right.
Him giving me the window of like encouragement to like, look, man, be you. If you feel like you're the greatest to play, be the greatest. Don't back down from it. Let's be pros at it though. He was always a pro, and that's what people don't realize. The guy was always a pro. And so I was more street driven. I was more edgy. So being with him kind of curved that. I think we both were godly guys. I think we both believed in the Lord at a high level, respected it. And then the business side of it. Mine was more brash. His was more let the people work for you. And so, we picked and choose what we would take from each other. And then it's funny when we got into the music, and I'm actually like Peanut said, I'm a musician, and he beat me to putting out an album. He put an album out, a single at least. Must be the money. Must be the money.
Must be the money.
But that's showing you though somebody that's not scared to fail.
Yeah.
And I think we both like brought that to each other. Like, look, let's try to be the best we can ever be, even if we fail. And he's doing that now at Colorado.
So you talked about the influence that Deion may have had on your life or whatever. I want to know who, and tell me if it's true or not, or is it just a rumor? And either way, it can stay in this room, but it's probably not.
Right.
But who influenced who? If you guys are roommates, and who overslept in Houston?
y'all, you know what? You guys are really good. Y'all digging information like, I'm not going to give shots out to other guys about their podcast on this podcast. But you know what I'm saying? You guys are digging some good information. Whose fault was it? That night, it might have been Prime's fault. That night might have been Prime's fault. Come think of it, And I tell you, that was so funny. We woke up.
We got you.
You got us. We woke up, bus gone, bus 1 gone, bus 2 gone. And I know you guys know.
Oh, bus 3, last one out.
Bus 3, last one out. Right?
Bus 3, last one.
He normally catches either, he's no later than the second bus. He'll catch that first bus because he'll go over, get all his, whatever, he got his mojo going. You walk in the locker room and Deion has this whole outfit laid out.
Yeah.
With the shoes, the whole outfit, the whole nine, like somebody's in it already.
Yeah.
He had an iPad before people knew what iPads were. He was already breaking the receivers down on game day, the actual game day, he would be breaking them down. So he would leave a little earlier. I was on those special teams. So I would leave on the last bus. And really, I used to be nervous. I used to be nervous a lot because I knew I had to take hits. I knew I had to get tackled. So I would go on the last bus. But for some reason, last couple of weeks, several weeks, he's been going on the last bus, been hanging out on the last bus. So I'm like, dude, I cut it like right to the inch, And so, alarms going off. I look at it. I look at the clock. Oh, man, they didn't move time back. Ahead. They moved time ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever, right? So I ain't paying no mind. So what time is it? Oh, man, it's 8:30. Oh, we got time. But it really was 9:30, 10:30, right? All the buses are gone. So me and him got to jump in the cab and get in the regular traffic of fans coming into the game. So now we're boiling down to like 45 minutes before kickoff. We're still in the cab.
We still in the cab?
We're still in the cab. It's 45 minutes before kickoff. We look at each other. We're like, dude, we got to get out this cab and run. So we got out the cab, bags and all.
Suit and all.
And ran at least a half a mile to get up in there. And so we get up in there, both sweating like hogs. And first thing the coach say is, he's like, where you guys been? And then it just got quiet. Now, coach was Jerry Glanville.
Yeah.
So we might get away with it. We might not,
Yeah.
He's like, what's going on? And then Prime said, Dre tell you. And so I think that's why I ended up with the butt of the story. Dre tell you. But long story short, he says, don't worry about it. You better play the best game of your life, right? And so he said, you better play the best game of your life. And so I hadn't caught a pass the whole game. He hadn't had an interception the whole game. I don't even think he made a tackle. And so they finally punted. And he takes it all the way to the house. So I'm now the only one still hadn't done anything, right? So I'm like, then they take me out the game. So I just know I'm about to get fined. I ain't going to tell y'all what that fine was.
It's all good. I'm just glad we figured out.
Yeah, we figured out.
So it wasn't, okay, all right, we're good.
I'll take fault for it. I'll take fault. I'll take the higher road. How about that?
Hey, man, that's a good fall guy. I like that.
Right.
What I'm curious is, what'd you do in the 3 years between the NFL and then when you went to the CFL?
Oh, man, now that was a trip. I love the CFL.
Yeah.
I became a world champion over there.
Yeah. Toronto organized.
Yeah,
that was I've been to one CFL game, and that's the one game I went to, actually. I went to Toronto organized game. Michael Bishop was
great friend of mine. Quarterback, big boy. Yeah, Kansas State. Yeah, good friend of mine. I went, and the organization were in transition of moving to a building.
Yeah.
So when I got there, they were working out of units. So I asked myself, I asked God too.
What kind of units?
Like elementary units, like units sitting on bricks, like
like the trailers?
like a
like
trailer.
trailers. Yeah, they were working out of trailers.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They were working out of trailers.
Okay.
I went over there, we won a championship, and next year they asked me to come back, but they asked me to come back as a player coach.
Gotcha.
And so I had no problem with it. But when I got over there, the game was different. The field was much wider.
Yeah.
So my first day of practice, they put me in the slot. And so I was standing still. And the other receivers were coming down.
Yeah.
You can
running.
Toward the line of scrimmage.
Towards the line of scrimmage.
Not no lateral, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, I'm cool with it. Like for the first 2 days, I'm going to show them that I can get out and still run and all this good stuff, right? Man, I went and watched film, and I'm like, them guys were like leaving me like this, right? And so I went and asked the coach, I said, hey, how about moving the old guy in the back so I can have a head start and I can get the running start, right? So that was my first route. That was my first change in the game.
Like, welcome to the CFL.
Welcome to the CFL moment.
Yeah, welcome to the CFL moment, right? And then my second one was after that practice, I'm getting dressed. I'm about to leave practice. And they're like, teammates of mine, like, meet me in the parking lot. I'm like, meet you in the parking lot. Who in the parking lot? They like, we're going to meet in the parking lot, and then we're going to go back to our apartment, barbecue, team coming over, and all good things, and we're going to play some video games and Madden and all this stuff, and you can get a chance to meet your teammates and fraternize. I said, okay, cool. So I go to the parking lot. When I walk up in the parking lot, it's like a cannabis fest. And at that time, I still was trying to get back in the league and go to a contender to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to get in no trouble.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around nobody that's doing wrong. My whole team in there smoking bud, dude, chilling. Hey, Bad Moon, man, we so glad to have you. I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, what? I'm like, what is this? And then I seen the cars, right? And so I seen the cars at the facility. And I'm like, man, I seen that car. And if I can recall, somebody said, that's a coach's car, right? And so I said, okay, that's a coach's car. Well, what is the coach's car doing over my teammate's apartment? Man, I walk in the kitchen, coach in there seasoning the meat. Man, we so glad to have you. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine that in the NFL?
I couldn't.
You couldn't, right?
I couldn't.
You couldn't. And our record at that time was like 4-8. We were losing record, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm contemplating on cutting the television off and pulling the plug out of the video game. And it's about 20 of us in there because I'm going to hold court.
You about to get them right.
Yeah.
This ain't it.
This ain't it. I sat there for about 5 minutes. I looked around, started sizing them up if they jumped me. I said, well, they jump me, they jump me. I went over there and unplugged the TV. Boom. And it just got total silent. I said, nobody got no film? I said, we ain't won a game in 2-3 weeks. I said, nobody got no film? I said, y'all can smoke, but why don't we smoke till we get 500? And we won. We didn't lose a game, and we ended up winning the world title.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we ended up winning the world title. Yeah. And super great experience for me. And that's what propelled me into coaching. And I've been coaching since. Coaching and mentoring ever since.
You move
that
guys.
That moment changed everything.
Oh, yeah. That moment changed everything.
You move guys.
Yeah.
I
like
want to
that.
I want to know your own opinion. And sometimes it's hard to look at ourselves in the mirror and give us, well, I think sometimes we give ourselves the most honest answer when we look ourselves in the mirror. And so I'm going to put a mirror in front of you right now and ask you this. Is it fair to say, or a comparison, that you're the Allen Iverson of football? Kind of like the bad boy, a little bit more brash, you know.
Yeah.
And it's also has something to do with the dress, the Atlanta, like all these other things.
Yeah. Allen is like my little brother. I love him to death. I'm so proud of him. So proud of what Reebok did for him. I'm so proud of what Philadelphia did for him, the 76ers.
Yeah.
I think it's well overdue. But is there comparisons? Most definitely. At first, I used to get Dennis Rodman, and that was because of all the tattoos. Because nobody was running around the NFL with tattoos and doing this, but I'm winning.
Yeah. I'm
winning, and I'm not bothering nobody.
Yeah.
I'm winning. I'm playing at a high level. I feel like I'm the greatest to play this position still to this day. Everybody wants to say, oh, that guy is, because why? Because he's 6, whatever. Nah, it don't go like that. So if you want to say Jerry Rice, okay, that's cool. But I feel like I'm the best to ever play the game. And in saying that, you like, okay, well, I feel like I should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. I retired top 5 all time in almost every category.
Yeah.
So then you ask yourself, with that mirror, are you a bad person? You start trying to finagle through what could possibly be the negatives. What is wrong with you? And so could we all be better people? Yeah. But have I done anything to warrant this denial? I hadn't. I didn't burn my own house up. I didn't do boom. Did I make the mistakes? Wherever I made a mistake, I admit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I believe Allen did that.
Mm-hmm.
And the comparison is a great comparison.
I would also say how, and I don't think it's all the way you until you talked about earlier how you were able to control the music industry, but it's also this hip-hop culture all of a sudden invaded football before.
Yes.
When nobody ever really thought about it. The same way when Allen Iverson's wearing jerseys, throwbacks on the sidelines when nobody's
Yes.
seen that in the NBA before either.
Changed the whole game.
And everybody changed the game, and it
Yes.
just the game wasn't
Fashion-wise,
ready.
Yeah.
And now you look up and
The
it's like,
do-rag, the chain,
all of it.
It's all-
braids.
We remember Edgerrin James had to go through the issues about his hair.
Yes.
And he couldn't get no commercials. But Palomar got the commercial.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's tricks and trades to it. I've seen the game evolve.
Come a long way.
From a long way. Am I happy where the game is? I love today's game. But then when we get to talking about behind the scenes, the CBAs and collective bargaining agreements and stuff like that, I think this generation has no clue what paths we pay for them.
yes,
Yeah.
I really feel they really are uneducated on what we did for them, you know, and we know what the players prior to us did for us.
True.
Yeah.
very
You
true.
know, and so I believe if we can, some kind of way, keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it to this generation of an NFL player knows what we sacrificed and what we did for them to be able to go on the stage and be able to change their families' lives and their lives. You know, I think that right there would be my main goal.
If I could ask you your opinion, how do we do that though? Because I don't have the answer.
I don't know.
'Cause- but you work with more young people than I do.
I think I think seeing maturations of elite athletes from the Ye days, bringing them to the forefront of right now in the present,
Old and young.
old and young. Like when you see Allen Iverson being commended for his stripes and his efforts in the game of basketball, not just for the 76ers. He changed the culture of basketball.
You did.
He changed the culture. I feel like I changed the culture of football.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so when these guys run around and they have swag, the confidence is booming outside their helmet. We didn't come from that. We brought that to the table. Deion Sanders and Andre Rison brought something to the table hadn't been brought to the table. The furs, the minks, the jewelry, the clothes, I believe that was there. Because I've watched old film. I watched old tapes. Those guys dressed well, right? But they didn't make the money we made,
Yeah.
right? So now here we come. We dress how we want. We dress well. Me and Prime and I always dress well because I looked up to Michael Jordan.
He was always in a
He was
suit.
always
And he was
clean.
always in a suit. So pretty much, predominantly, I was in a suit. But when I get off of work, I'm in Atlanta. I'm not going to wear a suit 24/7.
Right.
So when other players would come to town and see how we really got down from a fashion and everything included, it kind of like melted to other programs, other
did,
organizations, and other players, you know. In the off season, they want to come to Atlanta.
Yeah.
They did.
They want to come to Atlanta.
They
It's not-
still want to go to Atlanta.
they still want to come to Atlanta. Fast cars, right?
Yep.
And everything that comes with the fast cars.
No doubt.
Everything
I'm glad
that
you cleaned
comes
that
with
up.
it. You know, and I know for a fact we set the tone in that.
Yeah.
I know for a fact we set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was fortunate to go to a city where I was embraced
Yeah.
and I was loved by the community.
Yeah.
So I know how my fashion rubbed off on people. And I think I seen an interview, just to get off this real quick. I seen an interview with Jermaine Dupri, and he said he was wearing gloves in his videos because he watched Deion Sanders wear gloves, and hip hop had crossed over.
Yeah.
Hip hop and football had crossed over. And so, do I feel like I'm a pioneer? You're damn right. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I like that. I want to know about a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about retirement. When I first got out, I got right into the broadcasting world. Rome took a whole year off. Didn't do anything.
365, baby.
Took a whole year off. Didn't do nothing. Didn't watch his kids. He didn't shave. Just was a bum.
I was
for a
living,
whole-
dog.
I ain't been there. I ain't been there. I ain't been there.
Living,
Hey, we the
dog.
best bums in the world, though, baby.
Come on, dog.
I am kind of exaggerating. Let me throw that out there to the camera. I am
Yeah.
exaggerating. He was with his kids. I'm totally making it up. But what I want to know is, what'd you do, or what were those first couple of years like when you retired and just being away from football? How was that for you mentally?
Being truthful, P. Now that I can speak back on it,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that was the first initial of admittance to, if that's a word, I think that's a word. But
You said it.
You
It's all
said it
good.
was.
You
Own
good.
it.
Yeah.
You good.
Um,
Trendsetter.
depression.
Yeah.
At full height.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I seen this comment after we won the Super Bowl, and Brett had made this comment. Brett Favre, my Super Bowl winning quarterback. After we won the Super Bowl, they asked him how he felt. He said, "I was at a high, and then it was instantly right back to low." And I never forgot that. And so when I retired in that first year, first several years, when I retired, I would catch myself feeling good. You know, hey, I had a hell of a career. I believe I'm going to the Hall of Fame. I was able to help my mom, help my family, help many of others. And then all of a sudden, I would just go flat. I would flatline. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with my professional career. What do I move on to next? I know I'm smart, know I'm intelligent, know I can go work anywhere in the world, but I didn't have the get up. I didn't have I got to go to training camp. I got to get ready for preseason. I got to get ready for the season. Then I got to get ready for the playoffs. And then I got to get ready to be the man in the Super Bowl. I didn't have it. I didn't have the drive. Then you start reading all the literature from the medical parts and the medical ailments that's supposed to come with the game of football. And so I would wait on them to come, whether it was anxiety, whether it was depression, whether it was the mental aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it came within those first several years because I found out how to beat them.
Yeah.
I found out how to deal with them, and then I found out how to beat them. And then God gave me this beautiful lady in my life, my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was able to become Andre. And I'm so thankful for her, so thankful. But them first years, even to now, when it comes, you know, we could be at the height of the day, and that depression will come at the oddest times. You could be in church, and it'll come, you know, and you just gotta dissolve it, you know. And I hear other players. I do a lot of mental health awareness. I'm on the Hall of Fame NFL Hall of Fame mental health board. I'm on that, and proud to be on that with Calvin Johnson, Braylon Edwards. Our company is called SMA. We do a lot of speech and talks and fundraisers of that sort to bring mental health awareness. Yeah, you know, not to just football players, but to the whole world.
Yeah, Braylon talked about that earlier. Did a really great insights on, like, we always talk about the physical, but the mental part is huge.
Yes,
not just in sports, but in every aspect for everybody, really. Yeah, just always checking in and doing those things.
Well, you got to take care of our kids.
Yeah.
And when you find yourself, you know, you don't have to touch them. You don't have to curse them. And you still could be abusive. You could be abusive in your demeanor.
Words matter.
And you don't never, ever, ever want to do that. And so when I had my 4 girls, we had our 4 girls, I knew God was talking to me then. He was telling me, like, look, you gotta be that guy. Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do with football. No touchdown, no catches. Don't even think about the Hall of Fame. Think about your wife and your kids. Yeah. And I've been winning.
Yeah.
Been winning, y'all.
I'm glad you're winning.
So you talked about, I know you've dealt with some trauma, like growing up in Flint. It's been tough. You being the main male in your household until your mother remarried the stepfather, which I heard in an interview on Vlad TV. You were like, dude, it took so much stress off me. Like, I no longer had to be like the man. You know, it was like you relaxed.
Oh my God, man,
And hold on, I'm gonna finish it, and I want you to go about that because I want you to show us, just continue to shed more light on people that have had trauma, but things happen in your life where God is bringing people special into your life to really. Sometimes you don't recognize it. You know, you talked about your wife, this beautiful lady that's brought into your life. Is really just like, I get ease again.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My thing was, my mom and I, when you raise right, your mom is your mom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Grandma, you know. But being the oldest, like you said, living in West Virginia with a stepdad that was, you know, abusive, and then he gets murdered. But I had just found out how to love him.
Yeah.
Now he's gone. I don't have a real dad. I don't even know who my dad is. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, to the extent of I know who my dad is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that means the dad wasn't around. So you're growing up in that category, right? So I got to be the man. I'm 10 years old, and I'm the oldest. Stepdad just got murdered, and we moved back to Michigan. So we moved back from West Virginia. We moved from West Virginia back to Michigan, and not one man ever came in my mama's house, you know? And then when she met this one particular guy, which became my stepfather, it was another blessing, super blessing, because he came with all the intangibles my mom needed, I needed, my brother needed, my sister needed, and that's all we needed, you know? And we got a big family, huge family, but a husband to my mom is something totally different than a brother to my mom. My mom has a bunch of brothers, right? That's not her husband. So when he came, I own 80 acres. We own 80 acres. So to this day, we got our own lake, got 3 houses, 2 barns, studios, all this. But it's just me, my mom, my brother, and sister. You need somebody up in here.
Yeah.
And so she could have picked Joe, Bob, or Terry, and I'm so glad she picked the van, you know. And he came in, he's been in our lives 30 plus years. And I love him to death, man. But he took the sense of security, like just me being away and wondering if, you know, hey, somebody kicking in the door. They know, you know, them the Risons over there. Ain't no man over there. You know, let's take advantage of it. So you always thinking that part of it. You know, my mother, my sister, my brother, he's still in junior high at that time. And so that took a lot of pressure off me. Financially, I kept doing what I was doing. You know, whatever I was doing financially as far as helping my mom, I always continue to do it. That didn't change. But by him being successful himself and coming in, that helped.
Yeah.
By him being a real man, a real father, that helped. You know, by him being studious, he was from L.A., he was from California, that helped because he wasn't from around there. He wasn't around Flint. He don't know nobody in Flint. That's cool. Well, that worked right up my alley. And they're together today. They're with our kids right now while me and the wife down here enjoying this this NFL 2024 draft, you know?
Yeah.
We didn't call a sitter. We didn't call a nanny, even though wifey had them ready. You know, I'm like, nah, we're gonna stick with the plan. Let's call Mon Dukes.
I like that.
Yeah, let's call
like
Mon
that.
Dukes. So we built the house maybe 3 years ago. We built the house, my wife and I, and it was coming off a cancer stent. My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer 3.5 years ago. And I promised her, I said, hey, if we get this money, I'll build a house. If you're going to stay here, I'll build a house. And I wasn't talking about staying here and staying in Michigan. I was talking about staying here in life.
Yeah.
You know, at that point. And she did. Thank the Lord. She did. She beat it. And we immensely started building our house.
Yeah.
We got a beautiful home, built a brand new beautiful home in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and that's where we reside at. And I wouldn't have never did it if it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
I would have took that money and bought some crypto or Bitcoin or something.
Yeah.
You know, but it wouldn't have been no nice mansion.
Yeah.
For the kids. And what she told me that day, it still resonates with me. You need to put a house over our head. That's like telling me you're going to throw the ball to me on third down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's 3rd and 11, and we coming to you. You know, and so I took on that responsibility, and I'm so glad. And I don't throw the mirror up to me too much, but that's one time I throw it up and be like, I'm proud of you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a big thing to say.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, dude.
Big. It's a big step. A lot of us don't know how to do that.
No.
Especially as former players, when we look back after our career, it's a lot of blame.
For sure.
It's a lot of coulda, shoulda, woulda, regret. And so when you get that time or that chance or that opportunity to take a step back and like, man, you did good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you did that.
We don't get the you did good away from football.
No.
Only
Words of
goods we
affirmation.
did-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
yeah.
that's like, for the most part, that's our love language.
It is. It really that's
Because from
Spanish.
the time you was a little shorty to you're an adult and you're playing football, you know, we receive the, hey, Andre, that's a good catch. Hey, good block. Hey, that was a good route. Hey, good job. Awesome job. Hey, this, you know, like that's what this is what we're accustomed to. So when football's taken away, or when you remove football and you don't get that, I would say on a daily basis you kind of miss it. But I'm like Rome, like I'm glad I'm proud of you for saying that and just
appreciate it.
recognizing.
Yeah.
You
But,
know,
it's like we live in this awesome community, man, and successful people everywhere. Walk out the door, success, across the street, down the street, next door. So our daughters are around that.
Yeah.
You know, my wife is successful. So I'm out cutting the grass. I see the companies that these people hire to come do landscaping. I'm doing my landscaping.
Yeah.
I'm cutting my grass. You know, and so that right there in itself is like, when I cut my lawn, it's like winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, like can't nobody tell me nothing. You know, like I'm crazy with it. I'm almost too crazy with it, right? And so it's like I want everybody to know I cut my own grass.
Yeah.
I did my own landscaping.
Proud of it.
I did my own. Yeah. You know, I go scoop up my own dog's poop. You know, I ain't calling nobody in here because we have been catered to our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Playing that professional life, you know, and do I stick to the core of it though, as far as our itineraries that we grown accustomed to being on time? Yeah, but ain't nothing like being retired, man.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. When I tell people to this day, when I say, hey, they say, hey, how you doing? And da da da. They look at my size first.
Yeah.
And there's no way this guy of this size can have more touchdowns than Michael Irvin and Calvin Johnson. No way. All right, but I do. So this is what I tell them. I said, I've been retired 24 years. They give me the illest, evil look. Like, they mad because I've been retired 24 years and I still look like this.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't got nothing to do with the retirement. It's got to do with the element of graduating to maturity.
Yeah.
I've matured. Not that we weren't mature when we were playing,
Yeah.
but we have so much on our plate while we're playing. Where do you have time to mature?
True.
That's where when these guys get in trouble in the National Football League in today's time, I kind of like can rock with them until they get in my face to let them know, like, straight up, this is what you do and this is what you don't do.
Yeah.
And all them cats that you hang with and used to hang with, when it's over, you ain't going to be hanging with them.
True.
And they're not going to be around.
Yeah.
I know you guys well as I know. And if the money get low,
They definitely ain't gonna be
they
there.
definitely ain't going to be there.
Deuces.
They definitely not going to be there. If you need a loan, they're not going to be there. If you need some help, the only help you're going to get is the help I love that I got. And that was from my family as far as the mental part of it. My sister, my mom, my brother. Hey, man, you need the da-da-da-da. You need the, okay, you doing boom, boom. All right, well, to a certain extent, da-da-da. But when my wife came in, it really solidified the whole full circle
Yeah.
of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
I got my wife. I got my best friend. Now we built this family. I ain't trying to, like, become adjacent, you know. I'm proud that I played in the National Football League.
Mhm.
I'm very honored to have that opportunity, because if it wasn't a National Football League, a lot of black athletes wouldn't have been able to change communities across the country.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go to I got a non-football question for you. You know, we're in your home state. I was able to go to Atlanta, not Atlanta. I was able to play in Chicago for the bulk of my career, and then I went to Carolina with this clown over here.
Mm-hmm.
From here, made a great name for yourself. Then you go to Atlanta, make a great name for yourself there. What city do you claim more? Flint or
Minnesota. You know, Blaine, Minnesota. That's where my wife from. You know what I'm saying? Blaine, Minnesota. Let me get that out first.
Oh,
you
you
know
brand
what I'm
new
saying?
now.
Shout out to
I'm
Minnesota.
brand new. I'm brand new.
I'm from Blaine, Minnesota.
I'm brand new. But you know, I've always said, you know, born and raised in Flint.
Yeah.
That's what gave me. Born and raised in Flint. That's what gave me my my bite.
Yeah.
You know, Atlanta will always be from head to toe with me. I think I did a shout out to them the other day, or earlier today. I'm sorry, earlier today I gave them a shout out for the NFL draft. The whole city of Atlanta riding with me. They gave me a it ain't a birthday, but they gave me a day down there.
It's a proclamation.
Proclamation.
There it
you
is.
go.
It's actually November 18th.
November 18th.
2021.
2021.
That's
man,
it.
you guys are good, man. I'm telling you.
Andre Rison Appreciation Day.
Right. So how can you not say, you know, that's your city, you know? And so I'm very proud of that. I love the people in Atlanta and Detroit. You can't beat it. I mean, just think. Detroit Pistons,
Yeah.
Detroit Red Wings. Those are world titles. Detroit Tigers. Those are world titles.
Yep.
And now you got Detroit Lions, you know, sitting there to try to
They right there at it.
right there. They were in NFC championships last year, right?
Yeah.
University of Michigan just won the national title.
True.
The game of football is here,
Yeah.
and it's heightened at its tallest point. You
Yeah.
know, I bumped into Jerome Bettis here, and
Detroit
he's
guy.
Detroit guy. I want to say they played in the Super Bowl here.
Yeah.
What a dream come true.
2005.
2005. You know, and here goes another one. Here we go with a draft now, and so I'm just glad to be and happy. I'm not gonna lie, this is big. So just to be invited to stand on the podium and address all the Detroit Lions fans and all the NFL fans across the whole world, it's like I'm being drafted again.
Yeah.
I can't
It's
wait
a
to
good
see.
experience.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your outfit. Do you get up there and say like, "What up, doe?" Or like, what happens? Like, I can't wait.
Man,
I'm looking
I've been
forward
working
to
on my speech for about 5-6 days.
Okay,
you
all
know
right.
what I'm saying?
I'm
Yeah.
not,
I like
tomorrow
this.
we gonna preview this whole thing.
I like this.
I want to see it.
We're gonna be
Yeah,
there.
I want to see the whole thing.
I worked
got
on.
my kids.
I give you a hint because I love you guys. The suit coat. My wife is my stylist, so my suit coat. It's not the same one I wore on Family Feud last
Okay.
week. I did Celebrity Family Feud
Mhm.
last week, and so she picked out this color that was magnificent, and so she says, "I picked up another jacket for you in suit." I said, all right. So she comes through the door, and I take a peek. That thing is so pretty.
It's heat, huh?
Oh, it's the color. It's the color of Rome's shirt.
Got that fire.
It's blue. It's the blue.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the Detroit Hawaiian blue
Yeah. Okay.
with the North Carolina blue, and then I'm gonna wear the black up under it with the black.
The
and
black
the-
pants.
Yeah, you
You
know
gonna
it.
be
You
ready.
know it. With the
Gonna be
red,
clean.
with the red. Yeah, come on, P.
He gonna be clean. All right, I got one final question for you, real quick, before we wrap this thing.
But
Nope. Be quiet. I got this one. I want to ask you a Mount Rushmore question.
I don't want that to be.
Nope, that's gonna be the last one. This is my Mount
Mount
Rushmore
Rushmore.
question. You've had a pretty successful life. Actually, you've had a very successful life. And what we want to know is, who is on your personal Mount Rushmore?
Woo wee.
You get 4 of them.
You get 4 of them, I feel like I'm back on the feud. I gotta hit the button. All right. Connected to football or just
No, just in life.
In life?
Just in life. How the people that have helped you get to
Right.
today.
so we won't include moms.
You can include moms if you want to. It's
You know.
totally customized up to you.
Because everybody, you know, we throw mom out there ASAP. You
Okay.
know. The dads don't get enough. The dad, you know.
Yeah.
Only dad we really seen on the national scene was Serena and them dad.
Yeah.
You know.
And from Full House,
Yep, when the one from Full House. Them the only ones we seen. So
Carl Winslow.
Carl Winslow. That's it. So I would say definitely my granddad.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if anybody knows me, I grew up in the house with my grandfather. I sat there and watched baseball games, all the Tiger games, all the Lions games. I sat and listened to all the games on the radio. That's how I really learned how to play, by visualizing, listening to the radio. And I learned how to play. I never watched Monday Night Football because I had to go to bed at 9. So I would say my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you don't have a dad, dog, my dad became Dr. Charles Tucker, my agent,
Yeah.
my representation. He represented Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Dominique Wilkins, Carl Banks, Lonnie Young. The list goes on. Steve Smith, the great Steve Smith. I would say my granddad, Dr. Tucker. Definitely my grandmother. She gave me my heart to give. Be a giving person. Taught me how to be a shepherd from God a long time ago. So my grandparents, Dr. Tucker, my mom and my wife,
I like
and all my kids surrounding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom, my wife, my grandparents, Dr. Tucker, my mom and my wife.
I love it. Now, true or false, and then I'm gonna hit you with the real question because I know we ain't got but so far. Now, it is rumored, allegedly,
I'm coming back.
that you that you have owned 34 Benz, 8 Ferraris, 14 BMWs, 20 trucks, and 8 Porsches.
You are the winner.
I mean, you are the exact reason why everybody's like, oh, you got to be smart, scared about this. I'm like, no, I want to be like Andre Rison.
Oh, trust me, I've had many say that.
I want to be like Andre Rison.
Long as they end up like this in the end, though.
Yeah,
you gotta end up like this in the end.
Okay,
and you got to get the acreage first.
Yeah,
got it.
I bought the 80 acres and still own it to this day.
Love it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So no matter what I did in between, I can go lay my little black butt down and go to sleep. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
And so
true.
True, definitely true.
All right.
Definitely true.
I like it.
And
I like it.
Where do you hinted at it earlier, but I want to know how real it is. Where do you place yourself, Andre Rison, on the pantheon of all-time great wide receivers? Because you played during where we had about 6 of them.
Yeah. Name your 6 first.
I couldn't name 6 better than you when you played. Now, because stats matter, I would always go with Jerry Rice.
For sure.
And then after that, Terrell Owens is somewhere in there too because he put up numbers too.
For sure.
And then at that, we can have a discussion.
And I appreciate that.
Yes.
I really do.
A lot of people like throw Randy Moss out there.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Being professional football players like us 3, we know what that film says.
No doubt.
They watch TV.
They had better quarterbacks than you.
Right. And that's another one, but I'm going into what the average fan sees.
Yes.
The average fan sees TV. We see the film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So who they might think that's great, if you watch them for a full 50 plays, 40 plays, you might beg to differ. You're seeing the 4 completions and the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But if you would have seen him not block, not give effort, not cross the field, bad attitude with his teammates, here, there, whatever, those are all kept over here, which they should be. Now, if you're a super fan, you might be able to see through that. And that's being able to say, okay, well, I'm going to take what the commentator's saying about Randy Moss, and so I'm not going to put him in front of
a great point.
somebody.
I got you.
Okay, well, T.O., well, I'm not going to take T.O. Has T.O. ever won a Super Bowl?
No.
So we don't put in Super Bowls because Randy never won a Super Bowl either.
Correct.
Right? Then you say, well, Calvin Johnson gets to go to Hall of Fame, and he ain't won a playoff game maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Did he play 10 years or is it just 9?
It might be 9.
I think it was 9.
And here I go sitting there with more touchdowns and all this stuff, and I got more touchdowns than Michael Irvin, and I play in a division with Jerry Rice, so I see him twice a year.
Yeah.
I do things that he can't do.
Right.
It ain't nothing Jerry Rice can do that I can't do.
True.
There's a difference between that quarterback position now.
Mm-hmm.
That's Joe Montana. No disrespect to the ones I played with, the 50 that I played with, right? But that's Joe Montana.
You bring up a good point.
So Joe steps out. Here comes Steve Young. I never played with a guy like the Steve Young, right?
Yeah.
So when I look at it as though if I could cover you, because really I was a defensive back. I never played wide receiver in my life. I got put at wide receiver in college. So my thing is when I look at the top receivers, if I feel like I can check you, there's no way I'm going to put you in front of me because I know you can't check me.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice couldn't check me if he tried 3 times. None of them guys could check me. You would have to go to some old school guys that can get wiggly and can shift, that was shifty, DBs that can move left, right, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So when I look at it, I compile all that information, all that data. They call it what they call it, analytics now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm the greatest receiver to play.
There it is.
There it is. I like it. Greatest of all time.
Of all time.
Not even mad at that.
I ain't mad at that.
I
own it.
I wanted you
like
to
that.
say it again.
How many Pro Bowls do you have to go to before you're a perennial Pro Bowler?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
went to 5 straight. I don't need to go. Joe Montana's not even playing in them. The quarterback's not even playing. There's certain players pulling out of the Pro Bowl. So, okay, well, how many times I make All-Pro? All you need to do is make All-Pro once, and you're All-Pro, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Super Bowls. I'm like, man, I ain't never going to get a chance to win the Super Bowl if I don't get with a team with other great players on it that, and the first time I got with one, we won it. That was the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And I didn't wait. I thought I might have scored every playoff game. Then went into the Super Bowl. The first drive, first pass, touchdown. It was easy, right? So I'm thinking like, I know now I'm the best to play the game.
Yeah.
Will I catch Jerry Rice stats? No. Nobody will, right? But am I the best playing? I'm the best.
I like that.
I am. I'm the best. You
Yeah.
can beat me route running, beat me catching, beat me run after the catch, beat me blocking, just beat me something. And no, I'm not 6'4". I'm not 6'3". I'm not 6'2". 6'1". On Monday nights.
And
Sundays, I'm 6 foot. Monday night, 6'1". Right? It's got to be some type of elevation on Monday night.
You played it
Y'all know
well.
that.
I like it.
P, you know that. All the plays y'all done
you
made.
represented
All
well.
the plays he done made.
You represented well. You played the game well. Hey, man, we appreciate you coming on this podcast.
Man, thank you guys.
And blessing us.
Thank you guys so much. And
Just
it's
with
funny.
these stories, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Now, when I start mine, I'm going to have to have you guys on it.
Most definitely.
Thank
Love
you
it,
guys
man. The greatest opportunity if you ask that.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Thank
we,
you.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Look, man, thank y'all for listening. iHeartRadio.
I got it,
Apple
man. Make sure you give us
Podcasts.
a 5-star rating wherever you pick up your podcast, whether it's iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts. Give us a like, comment,
Share, link, subscribe,
There
follow.
we go. Hit the follow button, man. Peanut, get us out of here, man. Bad Moon Rising. We in your city. I can't wait to see you at the draft, man.
Man, much love.
Hey, man, this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. We out here NFL Draft 2024, Detroit, Michigan, the D. What up, doe? We out.